Back here in Arizona, Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Mark Kelly is weighing in on the state's response to the coronavirus after reducing their request of ventilators from the national stockpile from 5,000 to 500 because of a lack of availability.
He issued a statement earlier today saying the federal government needs to fully utilize the Defense Production Act to produce more ventilators and protective gear for medical professionals. Then it needs a strategic plan to distribute supplies to states like Arizona that urgently need them. Well, we can't wait. This needs to happen now. Mark Kelly joining us live from Skype. So thanks first off for joining us. We appreciate your time. What do you think needs to be done immediately?
Well, so we need to know how many ventilators we're going to need. The original, what we heard from the Arizona Health Services Department was that we're going to need 4,000 to 5,000 ventilators. But like Dennis said in the earlier segment, the data is really important. I'm somebody that has spent a career looking at and evaluating data, not exactly this kind of data, but it's important to have that data so we know what the state is going to need. And then it's up to the federal government to provide us with that supply of ventilators. It's critical to the lives of Arizonans.
All right, you are running for U.S. Senate. How would you grade Congress's response to the coronavirus?
Well, so I hate to see when anything becomes partisan, and we often see in Congress, some partisanship. Ultimately, they did come together to pass a relief bill that's going to give immediate need to Americans that unemployment benefits have been increased. That's a good thing. We've got hundreds of thousands additional individuals here in the state of Arizona that are unemployed over the last few weeks. Businesses need to be able to get the funds they need to stay open so we come out the other end of this. Those jobs are going to be available for individuals to go back to. And then we really have to make sure that hospitals and healthcare professionals, first responders, have the equipment that they need, the personal protective equipment, those masks and gowns they need to stay safe.
In times like this, some people kind of put life on hold and say, we'll deal with everything after this passes. And so the same in many cases for people with politics. With your campaign right now, what would you say to people who are like, I can't even think about politics or changing up the game here in Arizona with all of the uncertainty in our future?
Well, that's true to some extent for our campaign as well. Our first priority is public health, to make sure that the folks that we would be interacting with are safe. So we stopped knocking on doors a few weeks ago. Now we don't have any personal interaction with the public. The safety of my team is incredibly important as well, their health and safety, and our volunteers. That's the most important thing. The election is 7 months away, and we've got plenty of time to focus on that later.
All right, really quick, how are you and your wife doing through all this?
Gabby and I are doing well. I have a little experience with this as an astronaut, having flown in space a number of times. I've got a little bit of experience with quarantine and isolation, so I'm somewhat used to this. Gabby isn't, but she is getting out on her bike, exercising. She's following all the recommendations from the CDC and the NIH and our Department of Health Services. And we both are. And I think that's so important for Arizonans to do that. We have to stop the spread of this virus. And it seems like, this is, to some extent, it is working. And but we've got to make sure 100% of Arizonans do this. That social distancing is incredibly important.
Mark Kelly joining us from Skype. Your picture froze there, and we apologize for folks at home, but thank you so much again for your time and being live with us. We wish you guys well.